All right, another spark and another build. And welcome, builders of the Weave. Today we're going past the surface level. We're looking at a game that asks a very big question. How do you build a universe that feels ancient and brand new all at once?
We're talking about tools and titans. Specifically, we're going beneath the factions, past the logos, and into the true heart of its design. The character families, the bloodlines, the archetypes.
We call them the true groups. But before we start excavating that deep lore, let's ground ourselves. For anyone just joining, or anyone who needs a refresher, the entire massive game is built on a simple 6-step foundation.
It's the engine that makes everything else run, elegant and powerful.
So how do you play a turn in Tools and Titans? Easy. Draw your cards, charge your energy, build your field, act with your powers, clash with your titans, end your turn.
6 steps. That sequence is the bedrock. Everything else we discussed today, every complex strategy and piece of lore, is an expression of those 6 actions. And the true groups are how you begin to master them.
Okay, so let's get the formal definition on the table. What exactly is a true group?
Think of them as subfactions, or playable archetypes that live inside the 6 major factions. They define the subtle differences in playstyle, the story of a character, the strategy of a deck.
And this is the most important rule for deck builders out there. True groups do not restrict your card choices. They are purely about synergy. Your faction, Tool Titan, Rustborn, and so on, determines which cards are legal. The true group just gives you a compelling reason to pick certain cards over others.
It's a brilliant piece of design. Factions give you the rule book. Groups give you the philosophy. One tells you what you can do, the other suggests how you should do it.
Perfect. Let's start with the faction that is the face of the game, the Tool Titans.
The heart of it all. Their true groups are the most foundational and the easiest to understand. First, you have the main 12.
Drafter, the architect, Masonics, the builder, Mechanior, the engineer. These are the titans of industry, the core trades. They represent balanced foundational playstyles. If you're learning the game, a main 12 titan is your best entry point.
Exactly. Take Drafter. His whole mechanic is about planning. He places blueprint cards on the field for a low cost. They do nothing at first, but over subsequent turns, you can pay to upgrade them into powerful invention structures your opponent never saw coming. It's a slow burn, rewarding foresight.
And Masonics is the opposite, right? He's about immediate defense.
Pure defense. His abilities let him build fortress structures that have incredibly high health, and his Titan power allows him to redirect damage from himself to his structures. Playing against him is like trying to knock down a literal brick wall.
Okay, so that's the baseline. But what if you want a different flavor of Tool Titan? You mentioned the green 6.
This is the eco-conscious wing of the faction. They're all about nature, sustainability, and energy transformation. Here you find Solaritan, the solar engineer, and Verdesia, the titan of regrowth.
And their mechanics reflect that, right? It's not just a story.
It's everything. Solaritan's cards generate more energy during the charge phase if you have fewer structures on the board, representing clean, open space. Verdesia, on the other hand, has a unique mechanic called composting. When her structures are destroyed, they go to a special zone, and she can later use their energy to fuel powerful regrowth abilities, healing her own Titan or bringing back other cards.
So one is about preventing waste, the other is about recycling it. That's clever. What about the support roles? The supporting trio?
These are your essential utility players, Mendaris, Aetherlin, and Balancior. Mendaris is a pure healer. He can repair damage on your structures and your Titan. Aetherlin is about logistics. She lets you draw more cards and search your deck for specific tool cards. She doesn't win the fight, but she makes sure you have the right tools for the job.
Now let's get into the deep lore. The Trinity before the Rust. These sound important.
They are the originals, the ancient proto-titans who first discovered the elemental weave. Lokara, Machinara, and Electrus. Their gameplay feels raw, powerful, almost unstable. They unlocked the magic of the world, and their cards reflect that primal power. Their abilities are often more expensive, but have game-changing effects.
So that's the Tool Titan faction, a whole spectrum of creation, from careful planning to raw power. Now, let's walk into the shadow. The Rustborn faction.
For every act of creation, there's an act of decay. The Rustborn true groups are twisted reflections of the heroes. It all begins with the Rustborn Trinity, the original three who fell to corruption: Shivalt, Fusure, and Restara.
Chaos, meltdown, and corrosion. Their names say it all. So Fusure, the welder, was a tool titan who valued unity. How does that ideal become corrupted?
His desire to join things together became an obsession with melting them down. His Rustborn form, Fusure, has mechanics that reward him for destroying his own cards alongside the opponent's. He has an ability called Meltdown, where he can sacrifice one of his structures to deal massive damage to everything on the board. It's unity through mutual destruction.
That's dark. And this philosophy carries through to the Rustborn 12. The direct corrupted mirrors of the heroes we know.
It's a perfect, painful inversion. We mentioned Masonics, the builder. His Rustborn counterpart doesn't just knock down walls, he fundamentally undermines the idea of stability. Rustborn Masonics has corrosion counters. He can place them on enemy structures, and at the start of each turn, those structures lose health and their abilities get weaker. He doesn't break things, he makes them fall apart on their own.
And this applies to all the mirrors? The corrupted 6 are the dark reflection of the green 6?
Precisely. Solaritan's clean energy is twisted into null spore, a parasitic fungus that drains energy from the opponent's cards. Verdesia's life-giving regrowth becomes Veinlash, a titan who chokes the board with overgrowth cards that damage everything around them, friend or foe. It's life, but without balance. Cancerous.
That brings us to the most aggressive-sounding group, the corroding triad, Ashvikar, Cravature. These names just scream danger.
They are the high-risk, collapse-based titans. Their goal is to make the game state so chaotic that only they can function. Take Ashvikar. His core mechanic is scrap. He forces both players to discard cards from their hand at the end of every turn. The board becomes a war of attrition. But his own abilities become cheaper and more powerful based on how many cards are in your discard pile, which the game calls the junkyard. He thrives in the wreckage he creates.
It's a totally different way of thinking. You're not building a board, you're racing to the bottom. You know, this complexity is amazing, but it always hinges on that same simple loop.
It always does. Whether you are carefully building or gleefully destroying, your ambition is contained within those 6 steps.
Every Titan turn, draw, charge, building act, clash, end.
6 steps, infinite ways to forge a victory, or to engineer a total collapse.
Okay, so we've covered the builders and the destroyers, but Tools and Titans has true monsters. Let's talk about the Korit faction.
The Korit are something else entirely. They aren't fallen heroes, they are living nightmares. They are allegories of industrial accidents and workplace hazards. Their primary group is the First Circle.
And you said before, a trade hazard allegory. Break that down for me with an example. Snarweld.
Snarweld is the embodiment of a faulty, high-pressure weld failing catastrophically. It's a monster of twisted metal and explosive energy. Its signature ability is Arc Flash. It's a powerful attack that can't be blocked by normal means. But it also deals a small amount of damage to Snarweld itself. It's a wild, uncontrolled force.
And Graphelix? The fear of being caught in machinery?
Graphelix has a snare mechanic. It can target an enemy titan or structure, and that card cannot act, move, or use abilities until Graphelix is destroyed. It literally entangles and disables its victims. The Koret don't play by the same rules of combat. They represent sudden, unavoidable disaster.
From pure horror to pure order. The opposite end of the spectrum must be the Preservants.
The Preservants are the ultimate control faction. Their entire goal is to stop entropy and decay. Their main group is the Caretakers, guardians like Seviron and Chronix, whose job is to seal away the Rustborn's influence. They have abilities that can remove counters, cancel enemy abilities, and protect their cards from being destroyed.
But their most famous group is the one that messes with time. The Temporal Binders.
This is where the game becomes a chess match. This group is all about delay and fate locking. And the prime example is Deliara, the pause between threads. We mentioned her before, but let's go deeper.
Her Detain ability. How does it really work?
When your opponent plays a powerful card, Deliara can target it. That card gets a pause counter. For 3 full turns, it is completely inert. It's on the field, your opponent can see it, taunting them, but it can't do anything. The counterplay is to either destroy Deliara, which releases all detained cards, or to try and weather the storm. Playing against her is an exercise in patience and frustration.
That is brutal. Okay, from controlling time to controlling reality itself. The Primordials.
The Primordials are less like characters and more like living laws of physics. They are the concepts that existed before the first Titan. Their group is the Natural 13, and it's unique because each of the 13 is its own group. Each one changes the fundamental rules of the match.
You mentioned Thermodra, the primordial of heat, and Chronarch, the primordial of time. Give me another. What about Obscuron, the primordial of darkness?
When Obscuron is in play, the concept of a full board changes. The maximum number of structures a player can have on the field is reduced from 5 to 3. It represents the encroaching void, limiting what can exist. It forces players into tight, minimalist strategies. Playing a primordial is like agreeing to play a whole new version of the game.
Finally, let's touch on the strangest faction. The ones that feel like they're from another reality. The Mythborn.
If primordials are physics, Mythborn are metaphysics. They are born from dreams, stories, and paradoxes. Their first group is the Dream Echoed. Titans like Mythera and Illyrex. They weaponize perception itself.
And their other group? The Ghost Guild?
The Ghost Guild are masters of recursion. Titans like Zinthari and Nimbril. When one of their cards is destroyed, it doesn't just go to the junkyard. It leaves behind an echo token. Zinthari can then use these echoes to replay a ghostly version of that destroyed card for 1 turn. It's like fighting an army of ghosts. You can never be sure if a threat is truly gone.
So when you step back and look at all of this incredible architecture emerges. It's not a flat system. It's a hierarchy of identity.
That's the perfect way to put it. At the top, you have the faction, your macro identity. Beneath that, the group, your subfaction, your family. And at the bottom, the specific Titan, your playable character.
Using the example from before, faction, preservants, group, temporal binders, Titan, Deliara, the pause between threads.
Each layer adds specificity. It adds lore. And from a design perspective, it's a powerful tool. It allows the creators to release new content that feels both innovative and cohesive. A new pre-constructed deck is just a new group. A campaign chapter can follow the story of a specific group. It creates a framework for endless, meaningful expansion.
It prevents the game from just becoming a pile of random, powerful cards. Everything has a place. Everything has a purpose. It gives the world a sense of history.
It means that every choice you make as a player matters. You aren't just choosing a deck. You're choosing a lineage, a philosophy, an identity.
It all circles back. The grand cosmic story of a primordial. The tragic downfall of a Rustborn. The steadfast construction of a tool titan. It's all expressed through that one simple turn.
And in the end, that's the beauty of it. The endless complexity of these true groups is still built on that simple, powerful sequence.
In every single match of tools and titans, your tradecraft unfolds in 6 simple moves: draw, charge, building, act, clash, end,
Simplicity for the novice,
mastery for the titan.